We got it.
Try it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We got it. We got it.
Okay. But let the mic. You don't need to like. Just stand naturally, and the mic will pick you up. Okay.
Hmm?
Yeah, it's over there.
Testing.
Did you test this one?
Yes, you did.
You just said hello right now to each other.
He said he's the father this morning.
Yeah, we had a meeting together.
We had a meeting.
We had a meeting.
Yeah, I know you were all over. Had a funeral.
There were two. Yeah, I get it. That's how I was Friday. Jeff Agron and I sat in a meeting and we both kept going, what are we? What's happening? Where are we? Where are we? Keep up for tomorrow.
Sean, just FYI, I turned up the volume in the guitars. Like in my guitar, I turned up the volume, so I don't know if it affects anything. Okay? All right. Shabbat Shalom, welcome.
הבאנו שלום עליכם, עליכם הבאנו שלום, הבאנו שלום עליכם, עליכם הבאנו שלום. הנה מה טובו מה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הבאנו שלום עליכם, עליכם הבאנו שלום, הבאנו שלום עליכם, עליכם הבאנו שלום. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הבאנו שלום עליכם, עליכם הבאנו שלום, הבאנו שלום עליכם, עליכם הבאנו, עליכם הבאנו, עליכם הבאנו שלום.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Tonight we gather to celebrate many things. First of all, Avery and her family on the occasion of her becoming a bat mitzvah tomorrow. We're celebrating Memorial Day weekend, and tonight we will also be welcoming a new member into the covenant, the Jewish people. And we're also celebrating Be Well Shabbat. Be Well is a program through the Jewish Federation of Greater Miami, which endeavors to support young adults, parents, caregivers, and Jewish professionals in addressing the growing mental health needs within our communities. Jewish tradition teaches us that when we encounter someone with suffering in their heart, it's our responsibility to greet them with a smile so that they may unburden themselves. Through this act, we learn that we can literally give life to another. So in honor of this special Shabbat, we're thrilled to be joined by our very own Temple Beth Shalom member, the Honorable Judge Steve Leifman, who will be speaking to us about his wealth of knowledge and work in the arena of mental health and mental illness later in our service. We begin tonight with welcoming Shabbat through the lighting of the Sabbath candles on page 2 as we invite up Avery and her family.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israels who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Page 4.
And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. The heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Page 5 for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים. Thank you. If you want to.
L'chaim and Mazel Tov to Avery and your family. We'll hear a little bit more from you later. You all can return to your seats. We continue with our welcoming of Shabbat, singing Psalm 98. Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash, sing Adonai a new song on page 15.
The words we're going to sing are at the bottom part of the psalm, Hariu Ladonai Kol Haaretz.
La ilaha illa ilai la 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 ya la 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 ilaha illa ilai la 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 Ahari Ladonai kol haaretz Ladonai kol haaretz Ladonai kol haaretz יצחו ורננו כי יצחו ורננו וזמרו ורננו וזמרו ורננו וזמרו Nai, 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 na, na, nai, na, nai, na, 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 nai, 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 na, na, nai, na, nai. זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור. בכל זמרה, זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכל זמרה. לי לה 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 לה, יה לה 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 לה, לה 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 Lai, la, 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 la. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, la, 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 lai. Ah, lai, la, lai, lai. Lai, la, lai, 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 lai.
We continue with Lecha Dodi, the words of our mystics. We'll pray together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and rise on the final verse and face the door as we welcome in Shabbat, pages 20 and 21.
Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekad ela, shamru v'zachu v'dibur echad. ישמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו לתפארת ולתהילה. לי 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 יה לה 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 לך דודי, יה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת לקראת אלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לי 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 יה לה 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 לך דודי, יה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יה לה 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 בני שבת, בני שבת nekad ela. אדוני עלייך נגלה, לי 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 יה לה 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 לך דודי, יה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת nekad ela. עצרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוכם בני עם סגולה, בואי חלה בואי חלה, לה 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 לך דודי, יה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת מקבלה, יא לה 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 לך דודי, יא לה 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 לקראת חלב, יא לה 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 בשבת, בשבת מקבלה.
Please remain standing as we turn to page 28 for the Baruch Hu, our call to worship.
Ya la la, ya la, la 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 la, la la, ya la, la 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 la. Please join me, ya la, ya la la. La 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 ya la 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 ברכו את אדוני המבורך ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד La 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 Umavir yom umevir laila, please be seated. Umavir beyom uvein laila. Adonai Tzevaot Shemo Elechai Rekayam.
Page 30.
תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המריר אהבים.
Please join me reading responsively on page 33 at the bottom. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. Then this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Amen. I'd like to invite Avery back up to lead us in the Shema and Ve'ahavta. Page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadevarim ha'elech asher anuchi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתן לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך ביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני Adonai Elohechem, Asher hoteti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, leot lachem lelohim, ani Adonai Elohechem.
Beautiful, Avery.
Beautiful job. I know that we're all looking forward to hearing more from you tomorrow, but your family is already so, so proud. Okay. In the Ve'ahavta prayer, we express our love for God and the Jewish people through our commitment to mitzvot and to teaching the next generation of Jews. And so tonight, we welcome a new Jew into the covenant who joins us in taking mitzvot into her heart and into her soul. So, Danny Machino, I feel so proud to stand here with Danny tonight and officially welcome her into our community. As I expressed to her today during our Beit Din, Danny has been Jewish in my eyes since the moment that we met. So I'm pleased to finally make it official. So we're going to begin with some questions. I'll use this microphone. And you know all of the answers. Do you choose to enter the eternal covenant between God and the people Israel and to become a Jew of your own free will?
Yes.
Do you commit yourself to the pursuit of Torah and Jewish knowledge?
Yes.
Do you promise to establish a Jewish home and to participate actively in the life of the synagogue and of the Jewish community?
Yes.
If you should be blessed with children, do you promise to raise them as Jews?
Yes.
Do you commit to building a meaningful relationship with the state of Israel and its people?
Yes.
Do you accept Judaism to the exclusion of all other religious faiths and practices?
Yes.
Do you pledge your loyalty to Judaism and to the Jewish people under all circumstances?
Yes.
Beautiful. So Danny is now going to read for us a selection from Ruth. Ruth was the first person in our history to choose to join the Jewish community, and then Danny is going to share some words of her own.
And Ruth said, "Do you urge me to leave you, to turn away from joining you? Wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. I vow before God that nothing but death could part me from you." So first I want to say thank you to Rabbi Jacobs for your support and guidance throughout this journey. I also want to thank my mom, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, but has been incredibly supportive throughout this process. Through my journey, I've often been asked, why Judaism? As time has progressed, my answer has evolved. I could say it's my love for Tikkun Olam. I could say the strong sense of community. I could say the approach to study and its importance of recognizing both the details and the greater picture. I could say these reasons and so many more because all of these values are true and dear to me. Over time, I realized my answer isn't the Jewish values individually, but what they collectively mean to me. It's simply who I am. I am so happy to be a part of the community that shares these values with me, and I'm excited to help pass these values on to future generations. I am deeply grateful to be a part of something as great as the Jewish community. Thank you.
Beautiful. I'd now like to invite everyone to rise as we present Danny with Torah. Danny, you stand before the commanding presence of the Torah, the Jewish people's most cherished treasure. It has led us on the way and guided us ever since we received it. It has been carried when we fled from destruction and during the times of our greatest rejoicing. As we place the Torah in your arms, take it to your heart as you now recite the Shema, the words on the lips of the Jew until the final moments of life. It is the affirmation that has sustained the Jewish people since our beginnings.
Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
So Danny has chosen the Hebrew name Devorah, which is a beautifully fitting name. Devorah is the only woman in the Hebrew Bible to fulfill both the roles of prophetess and judge, and she also takes on the role of religious and military leader. She's described upon introduction as Eshet Lapidot, which is often translated as the wife of Lapidot, but which could also mean the woman of torches or the woman of spirit. Danny, you are truly a woman of spirit. You are already a leader amongst our people, supporting the growth of our tribe community. You are truly a lifelong learner, as you shared. Danny consumes books and articles and classes like no other about Jewish history, liturgy, spirituality, and ritual. You exude a calm and quiet courage, but when you speak, your strength lies in your convictions and in choosing to speak your truth to power. Your leadership is one of example as you live the values that you wish to find in your community. Your dedication to our people has already blown me away, and I can't wait to continue to see how you grow. How lucky are all of us that you get to be a part of us and that we get to have you. Danny, you will now be known amongst the Jewish people as Devorah bat Avraham v'Sara, as you are bound to the first of our Jewish ancestors. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, hu yevarech et achotenu, Devorah bat Avraham v'Sara. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, bless Danny, bless Devorah bat Avraham v'Sara, who has cast her lot with the people of Israel.
Amen.
And we conclude as we bless you with the most ancient words of our tradition, the priestly blessing. But first, I'll take the Torah from you. You may be seated.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha ken yehi ratzon.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka ken yehi ratzon.
May God look kindly unto you and be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha shalom ken yehi ratzon.
May God bestow favor upon you and grant you a life of wholeness and always of shalom, of peace.
Ken yehi ratzon, ken yehi ratzon.
Mazel tov.
Siman tov, mazal tov, mazal tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazal tov, mazal tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazal tov, mazal tov, siman tov. Elanu, 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 ulechol Israel. Elanu, elanu, ulechol Israel. Elanu, elanu. ולכל ישראל, אלנו, אלנו, ולכל ישראל.
Now you can sit. We turn now towards the joyous words of Micha Mocha, our prayer for freedom, on page 40.
Micha Mocha לאלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, מי כמוך לאלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי אנו ואמרו, זה לי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. לי 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 la 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 מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש.
We've arrived now at Hatfilah, the Amidah, our standing prayer, an opportunity to engage in conversation with our deepest selves and the divine. So we turn to page 46, and I invite you to rise as you are able.
Adonai sefata tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please take a moment for the words of the prayers in your heart, or you can pray with the words on the page and be seated when you're finished. we join together in the words of Shalom Rav, page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Shabbat Shalom. When the Jewish community designated the month of May as Be Well Month to draw our attention to mental health and well-being, I knew exactly who I wanted to invite to come speak during this time. When I first met the Honorable Judge Steve Leifman just about 30 years ago, he had already defined himself as a tzaddik, a righteous person, and I'm not exaggerating. He had coordinated a group of volunteers here at Temple Beth Shalom before I ever came to mentor at-risk students with another group of volunteers from Temple Beth Shalom, and he just told me that he's still in touch with them and they're now in their 40s. They had meaningful results from this intimate relationship that they built. He was also one of our Mitzvah Day captains right from the start and continued as a Mitzvah Day captain. He was always ready to help the temple and our community in significant ways. Now, 30 years later, he is a judge for the 11th Judicial Circuit Court of Florida. He has served as a special advisor on criminal justice and mental health for the Supreme Court of Florida since 2007. He's known for his Herculean efforts to keep people who struggle with mental illness out of prison and jails. Judge Leifman is the visionary and strategist behind the Miami Mental Health and Recovery Center, a first-of-its-kind sui generis facility, which will hopefully open soon after about 16 years of planning and work. The goal of this clinic is to keep those with mental health challenges out of the prison system and in a place where they can be rehabilitated and get the support that they need. It is an amazing vision, and we are so proud to call the Honorable Judge Leifman a member of Temple Beth Shalom. So I warmly welcome you, and thank you for being with us.
Shabbat Shalom. Avery, Mazel Tov. I remember my bar mitzvah. Hard to believe. and you will remember it forever. It's a wonderful, wonderful life experience. And to Danny, Mazel Tov as well, and welcome. It's really a pleasure to be here. It's hard to believe I've been a member so many years. I think I grew up here in many ways, and many of the things that I probably do now are because of the amazing, amazing people at this synagogue who believe so thoroughly and so important about doing for other people. So thank you for that. I think what you learn after several years on the bench, for me it has been several years, is that in many ways the criminal justice system is a repository of many failed public policies. And there really is no greater failed public policy than our treatment towards people with serious mental illnesses in this country. The fact that we have applied a criminal justice model to an illness really explains why we have failed so miserably. My journey into the mental health world actually began one morning when I was getting ready to go on the bench. I was a new judge. I knew nothing about mental health. At the time, judges in Florida had no training. We knew nothing about these illnesses, how to talk to people with these illnesses, what to do with people with these illnesses. But it was a real problem. And so I was getting ready to go on one morning, and I was approached by the assistant public defender and the assistant state attorney. And they asked me if I would speak to a couple whose son was in jail on a case I was about to hear. I was a new judge, and when you're a new judge, you usually get assigned to the misdemeanor jail division. That is kind of your first assignment when you get to criminal court. And these are people in custody on low-level offenses. And there's really three kinds of people in that division. There are those with attached serious crimes who are not allowed out of custody. There are those that are too poor and they cannot afford to bond out of custody. But mostly it was just people with very serious mental illnesses that didn't know how to get out of custody. So the lawyers brought this lovely couple back into my chambers, and they were just terribly distraught. The mom was crying, the dad was shaking, and they literally began to beg me to get their son help. They told me that he was brilliant, he had gone to Harvard, he had a late onset of schizophrenia, he was now homeless, and he was cycling in and out of the criminal justice system, and they just didn't know what to do. They had tried everything. They had him civilly committed, the whole thing, nothing worked. And I think when you're a new judge, you think you have a lot more wisdom and a lot more power than you really do. And I made one of those rookie mistakes, and I promised them that I would get their son help, because I work in logic. And I knew that logically, if you got arrested and you had a heart attack, we wouldn't let you lie and die on a jail floor cell. We would immediately get you care. And I assumed if you got arrested and you were in crisis for a psychotic episode, we wouldn't let you lie and die on a jail floor cell. How wrong I turned out to be. And so as I was getting ready to go back into the courtroom, the mom stopped me and she said, Judge, there's a couple more things I need to tell you about my son. She said, not only is he brilliant, but respectfully, he probably knows more about the mental health system than you do. I looked at her. I had no idea what she was trying to tell me, and I think she thought the lawyers had told me much more than they had. And I said, excuse me? And she said, you see, my son is the former head of psychiatry at Jackson Memorial Hospital, which was my reaction. She said he had a late onset, and he didn't show up to work one day. We had no idea what had happened to him. And it turned out he was having religious ideations, thinking that God was talking directly to him. So he cashed in his life insurance policy, and he boarded a flight, and he flew to Israel. And within 3 weeks, he was running around naked in the Orthodox sections of Jerusalem. So the Israelis deported him back to Miami for his own protection. And since he's been back, he has been homeless and getting arrested on a regular basis, and we are devastated. I went into court, determined to try to help this young man, realizing I knew nothing. And I called his case, and he stood. And we started to have an amazing conversation. He was thoughtful, he was coherent, he was more respectful than the lawyers. Sorry, Michael. And I'm thinking, wow, he seems pretty good to me. Maybe there's something wrong with his parents. This doesn't really make a lot of sense. And he kept insisting there was absolutely nothing wrong with him, that he did not have any type of mental health disorder, and that if I would just release him, he would go see a psychiatrist, he would get evaluated, and he would come back. Now, mind you, I don't remember the exact charge, but I don't believe it was an actual statutory offense. It was such a minor offense. It was a local county ordinance like possession of a dairy cart, which many homeless people get picked up on as a way to get them off the street. And it's not as nefarious as you want to think about the police either. They also believe often that if they get these people arrested, they would get treatment. But that is not the case. So he's insisting there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. And I said, can I ask you a question? He said, sure, Your Honor, anything. I said, I just don't understand one thing. You keep insisting that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. But if that's the case, why would a Harvard-educated psychiatrist be in jail, be homeless, and cycling in and out of the criminal justice system? And all of a sudden, he got a look on his face that I will not forget to the day I die. It was a look of complete fear and terror. It was a look I can only describe to you someone has right before they think they're going to die. And he started cupping his ears, and he started shaking back and forth, and he went into a full-blown psychotic episode. And he started screaming at the top of his lungs in the courtroom. And he started to point to the back of the courtroom where his parents were seated, and he started yelling, Your Honor, Your Honor, Your Honor. And everything was in sixes. You have to have that cup removed. You have to have that cup removed. You have to have that cup removed. I said to him, aren't those your parents? No, 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 no. Real parents, real parents, real parents. Died. Holocaust, 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 Holocaust. And they're from the CIA, and they came to kill me, kill me, kill me, kill me. And the only thing that you could hear in that courtroom was his poor mother crying. And the only thing that I had been taught, which was ridiculous, was to order a psychological evaluation for his competency, which I immediately did. He ended up spending 10 to 12 weeks in our jail on possession of a dairy cart. And after all 3 evaluations came back and said that not only was he incompetent to proceed on trial, but he was so sick that he was imminently dangerous to himself or the community, and that he needed to be immediately hospitalized. So I hand the evaluations to the lawyers. They immediately agree or stipulate that he is incompetent to proceed. I begin to order him into some kind of treatment. And I look down, and the assistant public defender has a grin on her face. And I will tell you, as a former assistant public defender, this is a really bad sign. And then she utters those magic words that the lawyers in the room will appreciate more than the rest of you. She says to me, Your Honor, in all due respect. You see, when a lawyer says that to a judge, it has nothing to do with respect. That's how they tell you you're an idiot without going to jail. And I look at her and I say, excuse me? And she says, Your Honor. And she hands me this Florida Supreme Court case that had recently come out that, of course, I had not seen because I had just moved into that division. And what did it say? It said county court judges, of which I am, have no legal authority to involuntarily commit anybody or even get them forensically committed for treatment, and that my only option was to release them back to the street, floridly psychotic, imminently dangerous to self or others, and tell him to go see a psychiatrist and come back, exactly what he had told me to do 12 weeks earlier. And none of us go into this profession or any of your professions to be part of that kind of problem. I not only did not fulfill the promise I made his poor parents, I put him at risk, I put the community at risk, I probably put my job at risk, God forbid something terrible happened, but I followed the law that day. And I knew that I was not going to be in a position to do that again. But his case was a window to everything that is wrong with both our criminal justice system and our community mental health system in this country. We have more people in our jail in Miami-Dade County with serious mental illnesses than all the state's civil and forensic beds combined in the state of Florida. We have about 3,200 people in our jail right here in Miami who have been classified as having mental health needs. The county spends $848,000 a day, that's $310 million a year, to warehouse those 3,200 people. Now compared to the great state of Florida, which spends about $46 million for mental health services for everybody in Dade and Monroe counties, leaving about 70,000 people without any access to mental health care treatment. But we spend $310 million to warehouse 3,200 people in jail. It really makes no sense. And I will tell you, the impact of failing to have an adequate community system is considerable. When we started this project that I'll describe briefly in a moment, we wanted to get as much research as we could in this arena. And we were fortunate at the University of South Florida, which is typical Florida because it's not in South Florida, but they do have this great institute that does a lot of research, and they can actually tell a community who the highest users of criminal justice and mental health services are. So they have access to every arrest in Florida, every Baker Act, our civil commitments, and Medicaid and Medicare records. So we sent them the names of 3,300 people that had been arrested who had come through our program over a 5-year period who had been diagnosed with a serious mental illness. And we said, tell us who the highest users are so maybe we can wrap our arms around that population and we can really help them get better instead of watching them continuously cycle. And so I wait, I finally get this letter back from them and I open it up and there's one piece of paper in the envelope. And on this one piece of paper are the names of 97 individuals, primarily men, primarily diagnosed with what we call a co-occurring disorder, meaning they not only have a serious mental illness, but they have a serious substance use disorder, primarily psychotic, and primarily homeless. These 97 people over a 5-year period were arrested 2,200 times. They spent 27,000 days in the Dade County Jail, 13,000 days at a state psychiatric facility, cost taxpayers tens and tens of millions of dollars, and we got absolutely nothing for it. We recently updated the data on those same 97 people since 1985. 6 of them have since passed, but for the other 91, they have been arrested 4,210 times, and they have spent 97,438 days in the Dade County Jail. You see, they're not dangerous. They're just very sick. They're not committing offenses that would qualify them for prison. They're just quality of life offenses because they are trying to struggle and survive every single day. And where do we see them? We see them out on the street. And what has been the response of our communities recently is let's arrest them more. I will tell you that this is a fixable problem, but it is also a national problem. So when it comes to the behavioral health crisis system in America versus our medical crisis system, what we really have is a tale of 2 disparate systems. So if you call 911 for, God forbid, chest pains, you get an EMT, they hook you up, they're speaking to a cardiologist, you're going to get the best possible care that you could possibly get to help you recover. But God forbid you are suicidal or psychotic and you call 911, you're going to get a police officer with a gun showing up, and even though we've done an amazing job of training them, and they are amazing, it's not the best response. 70% of individuals in our jails in the United States, 70%, either have a serious mental illness, a substance use disorder, or both. I've decided that what we really need is specialty courts for the 30% that don't. And we probably need some type of therapeutic jurisprudence system to really address the needs of the people that continuously come into our system. And let me tell you, aside from the enormous human cost of using the criminal system as the de facto mental health system, the cost to society and taxpayers is exorbitant. Last year in the United States, we spent almost $1 trillion with a T in direct and indirect incarceration cost. Prior to the pandemic, 1 out of every 115 adults were behind bars, and 1 out of every 38 adults in the United States were under correctional supervision. And most of these increases are due to untreated mental illnesses and substance use disorders. But the good news is this is a very fixable problem. As a result of the case we had with the psychiatrist, we put together this amazing summit in 2000. I will tell you the best part about being a judge is that when I invite people to meetings, they come, even if they don't want to be there. And so we invited all the traditional and non-traditional stakeholders to a 2-day event where we mapped out the intersection between criminal justice and the community mental health system. And what we found is that we, the healthy people, were embarrassingly dysfunctional, that we had created a system to fail perfectly, and it perfectly failed. When America's community mental health system was designed and built, the most acutely ill with the psychotic disorders were still in state hospitals. And so we built a community mental health system for people with moderate mental illnesses. And so when we shut down the hospitals, and we went to the war on crime and drugs, and we had sentencing guidelines, and we massively cut back housing, this population got thrown into communities that was not built for them. And in true American fashion, we blame them. And they're just sick. We never created a system for the people that were the most acutely ill in this country. And we just kept throwing them in jail. And so as a result of our summit, we came up with a 2-part approach. And if I had to do it again, it would have been a 3-part approach, but we didn't have the research back then. We set up a pre- and post-arrest diversion program. We looked around the country, we looked at what effective programs might be out there, and we now have the largest trained squad of what are called CIT police officers, Crisis Intervention Team Police Officers. And they are amazing. We have over 8,600 of them at all 36 of our police departments. And they are trained in a 40-hour program on how to identify people in crisis, how to de-escalate situations, and where to take people as opposed to arresting them. And they have done an amazing job. And maybe one day we could have the Miami Beach CIT team here and compliment and reward them for the amazing work, and also let our community know that, God forbid, if they need help, how to access. We keep data on every single mental health call that our 2 largest agencies make, Miami and Miami-Dade. Over a 10-year period, pretty much the last 10 years, Miami and Miami-Dade police departments handled 105,268,000 mental health calls, and they only made 198 arrests. And nobody got shot, and nobody got hurt. The number of arrests in Dade County because of this program went from 118,000 a year to 53,000. Our jail audit went from 7,400 to 4,400, and we closed one of our 3 main jails. We also set up a post-arrest diversion program. That was the second part of the program. And so if you get arrested, God forbid, we immediately have you screened at the jail. And if you have not been charged with a serious offense, and if it's a misdemeanor, we basically get you out of jail within 3 days. We get you to a crisis unit, and then we give you an opportunity to come into our program where we will give you everything you need. We have 8 peers that work for us. 4 of them graduated from our program, and they help this population reestablish relationships, which incentivizes them to want to get better. The recidivism rate among this population in both of our felony and misdemeanor diversion programs went from 75% to 20%. And it has saved the county over almost 100 years of jail bed days. The police CIT program has saved the county 400 years of jail bed days. But we still have a little ways to go. Because the system and the community is not built for this most acutely ill population, we realized what we needed, and the rabbi mentioned it, is a one-stop shop for the most acutely ill. And so while it took us many years, we got our certificate of occupancy about 2 weeks ago, and we will have the first of its kind mental health diversion facility in the United States. It's the old competency restoration facility. It's 181,000 square feet. It's 7 stories, and it has a receiving facility, a crisis stabilization unit, a short-term residential facility. It has a day activity program. I'm going to get there in a second. How many beds? 208. It has a day activity program that'll be run by people with mental illnesses to teach self-sufficiency. It will have a culinary supportive employment program to help people get jobs when they're ready to leave us. You can get a GED or a college degree there, and there'll be computer labs to teach people other vocations. It also has a courtroom in the facility so that we can manage both criminal and civil commitments. But more importantly, it has a primary health clinic, a dental clinic, an eye clinic, and a podiatry clinic. And it has tattoo removal, because sometimes people do silly things when they're stoned and psychotic. And so putting a tattoo on your forehead with dirty words doesn't really help you get a job. So we will deal with that as well. And it has 208 beds of housing. And so instead of just discharging people to the street in a psychotic manner, like we had to do with that psychiatrist 24 years ago, we will gently reintegrate people back into the community in recovery with the supports that they need to maintain their recovery. I will tell you, we were very close to getting it open, but the county, for some reason, has started to give us some hiccups. So if you know any of your county commissioners or the mayor, would you please speak to her and tell her this is outrageous, that the voters voted for this building, the taxpayers have already spent $51 million to get the building done, and it needs to open because it's going to save the county a lot of time, a lot of money, and improve our public safety, and really give this population an opportunity for hope and recovery, which they deserve like anybody with an illness deserves. And I am convinced that once we get this open, which I know we will finally achieve what the United States Supreme Court wanted us to achieve when deinstitutionalization became a reality in this country. Thank you all very, very much.
I have no other words except for wow, truly. Thank you so much, Judge Leifman, for coming to speak to us, for your commitment to this incredible work. I know that you haven't done it alone, and we are also appreciative of you. Each week when we come together to pray, we pray for healing. And we say that we pray for the healing of the body, of the mind, and of the spirit. And as we just heard, healing is also not just personal. Healing is communal, and healing is systemic as well. And healing requires work. So together we're going to pray for healing, both personal healing and the healing of our world, so that we can continue to create a world in which all people can thrive. If you would like to share the name of someone who in your life is in need of healing, I'd like to give you that opportunity to share those names out loud now. We pray words of healing together.
We're sending our light to you. No matter where you are, you're with us. Sending our light to you. No matter where you are, you're with us. מי שברך אבותינו ואימותינו, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. We're sending our light to you. No matter where you are, you're with
us, sending our light to you. No matter where you are, you're with us. Mekor harachamim, we raise our voices. Oh, source of mercy, send healing now. We're sending our light to you. No matter where you are, you're with us, sending our light to you. No matter where you are, you're with us, sending our light to you. No matter where you are, you're with us, sending our light to you. No matter where you are, you're with us.
We wish a refuah shlema, a speedy healing to all those in need of healing, as well as those being held hostage in Gaza. I invite you now to rise as you are able as we turn to page 282 for the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated.
We turn now to page 294 for words of Kaddish. And as we do, we think of those who have died in the last 30 days, whose families are in the Shloshim, the 30 days of mourning. We remember Samuel Elmowitz, Tibor Hollow, Sally Spindell, Ella Riley Adler, and Ruth Halpern. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing to those who love them. We also remember those hostages and soldiers from the war in Israel who we have found dead this week. Gideon Chai Dirua, Yisrael Yodkin, Eliyahu Chaim Amsalem, Gal Shabbat, Meir Chaim Vaknin, Noam Batan, Ben Avishai, Michael Nissenbaum, Orion Hernandez Rado, and Hanan Yablonka. This Shabbat, we also memorialize 2 years since 21 students and teachers were killed in Uvalde by gun violence. We remember them in 2 weeks. On Friday night, we will have a gun violence prevention Shabbat with a special guest speaker, and I hope you all will be there for that. And very importantly, tonight, we celebrate Memorial Day weekend. And so we think about our American soldiers who have died over the years, who have died here in America and overseas, defending our liberties so that we can live in freedom and worship here freely. We thank them and praise their names as we remember them. We also remember all those whose yahrzeits are observed on this Shabbat and whose names have lovingly been inscribed in our plaques of remembrance. We think of Sergio Breiterman, Harry Butwinnig, Cantor David Convisor, Marvin Mike Cooper, Samuel Crystal, Sheldon Dickstein, Richard Furlong, Leonard Haber, Blima Nopke, Sidney Levin, Merrill Geller Loring, Dave May, Ethel Mayerson, Audrey Abel Miranda, George Ossip, Mildred Midge Riskin, Fred Rogenson, Ruth Schwartz, Arlene Green Verona, and Beatrice Ida Weinstein. And we remember all those other yortzites that are observed on this Shabbat: Sarah Alschuler, Herbert Aronson, Stanley Bloom, Molly Dribbin, Dee Dee England, Mitchell Friedland, Sandy Jo Gordon, Josie Halpern, Richard Halpert, Eva Hartley, Benjamin Horowitz, Sam Kasanoff, Martin Curlin, Mark William Curry, Renee Reaney Meadow, Morris Rand, Morton Robinson, Sam Rosenfield, Rose Rossman, Sam Sheres, Gloria Singerman, Carla Sternbaum Maldonado, Harold Tabor, Dorothy Dot Tandy, Alan Treaster, Gloria Wax, and Jerome Weinroth. I'm going to invite those of you who may be in mourning or have a yortzeit this Shabbat who have a name that I did not mention to please rise if you want to share that name with our congregation. Thank you. Will the whole congregation please rise together? Together we remember the 6 million who perished in the Shoah, who have no one to say Kaddish for them but us, as well as remembering the over 30,000 Israeli soldiers who have died so that we would have a Jewish homeland, and who continue to die, as we also remember those innocents who are dying in Gaza. And we take all of them into our hearts with our own, as together we say these words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei v'amlith malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'gala v'yizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam l'almei almaya, Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei t'kudasha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Osei shalom b'mrumav, Hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the author of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all who are bereaved with God's blessing of peace. And let us say, amen. You may be seated. It's my pleasure to invite up Karen Revo, a past president of our congregation, to make some announcements and give warm greetings, as I know she will. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom. Yes, so nice to be here. What a beautiful service. Aren't we lucky to have this beautiful chapel and wonderful clergy? I want to say first a special mazel tov to Avery. I know you're going to be beautiful tomorrow. You have a lot of beaming family here. I could just watch and see. So enjoy it tomorrow. To Danny, Devorah, welcome to the congregation. Welcome to our faith. And I look forward to getting to know you. And to Judge Leifman, who does not know this, but I moved to Florida almost 30 years ago, and he is somebody I have deeply admired all those years. So now you hear it. Truly, as Rabbi Pomerantz said, truly a tzaddik. Thank you for what you're doing. So just a few quick announcements. Tomorrow morning we have Torah study at 9:30. Tat Shabbat is at 10 o'clock for the babies. I love Tat Shabbat. And then the service is tomorrow at 10:30, where Avery will become a bat mitzvah. And then tomorrow night there is a temple event to celebrate Lag BaOmer, which is the 33rd day of the counting of the Omer. It's the 33rd day between Pesach and Shavuot. And I don't know, our hosts are here, so I don't know if there's still opportunity to sign up. So it's going to be a wonderful event starting at 6 o'clock to celebrate. Temple is closed on Monday, and then I want to highlight just a few events next week. First, one of our Miami people who grew up here, Professor Thane Rosenbaum, who now lives in New York, will be speaking to us via Zoom on what's going on college campuses on anti-Semitism. That will be on Zoom. And then Wednesday night, Cantor Parat continues his sessions on learning about Hatikva. Next Friday night, I hope you'll all come back. It's going to be sort of a nice thing, and I think sort of a bittersweet thing, because we're installing a new temple president, Michael Weinberg, and new officers. But at the same time, we're going to say goodbye to the person who has truly been the backbone of this congregation, keeping this building standing in good times and bad times, and that's Michael Zweig, our operations director. And he is leaving us after, I believe, 27 years, and I think we all should show our love and appreciation. I don't know how many of you don't know Michael, but he's here all the time, and I know I'm going to miss him very much. And finally, just because I can, I want to announce that next Saturday, my dear husband is leading a lunch and learn session after services next Saturday to talk about his experiences volunteering in April in the Gaza envelope and returning soon in June to do that again. And so anybody interested in volunteering in Israel, he is your person. So with that, Shabbat Shalom.
So next Friday, we should call Shabbat Michael, because we're welcoming Michael Weinberg as temple president. We're saying goodbye to Michael Zweig as our director of operations, and welcoming Mike Diaz to replace him. So you just have to remember one name. I'm going to invite you all to please rise as we turn to page 376, and in honor of Memorial Day weekend, we will join together in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Oh, say shalom, imeromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Shabbat Shalom.
Yes.
It's like gonna cry.
Thank you, Sean.
I know. Yes,
تو خاطی اشتباهی